Hello, my name is Catherine and I am reading to you from the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, Chapter 10, Part 2, The Power to Solve Personal Problems. In the very necessary business of solving personal problems, it is important, first of all, to realize that the power to solve them is inherent within you. Second, it is necessary to work out and actualize a plan. Spiritual and emotional planelessness is a definite reason for the failure of many people to meet their personal problems successfully. A business executive told me that he puts his dependence upon the emergency powers of the human brain. It is his theory, and a sound one, that a human being possesses extra powers that may be tapped and utilized under emergency situations. In the ordinary conduct of day-by-day living, these emergency powers lie dormant, but under extraordinary circumstances, the personality is able, when called upon, to deliver extra power if needed. A person who develops a working faith does not allow these powers to lie dormant, but in proportion to his faith, brings many of them into play in connection with normal activity. This explains why some people demonstrate greater force than others in daily requirements and in a crisis. They have made it a habit normally to draw upon powers that would otherwise be ignored except in some dramatic necessity. When a difficult situation arises, do you know how to meet it? Have you any clearly defined plan for solving unusually difficult problems as they develop? Many people proceed on a hit or miss method, and sadly enough, most frequently they miss. I cannot urge too strongly the importance of a planned use of your greater powers in meeting problems. In addition to the method of 2 or 3 praying together in the surrender of God technique and that of establishing a partnership with God and the importance of a plan to tap and utilize emergency inner powers, there is still another tremendous technique, that of practicing faith attitudes. I read the Bible for years before it ever dawned on me that it was trying to tell me that if I would have faith and really have it, that I would overcome all of my difficulties, meet every situation, rise above every defeat, and solve all of the perplexing problems of my life. The day the realization dawned on me was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of my life. Undoubtedly, many people will read this book who have never gotten the faith idea of living. But I hope you will get it now, for the faith technique is without question one of the most powerful truths of life in the world, having to do with the successful conduct of human life. Throughout the Bible, the truth is emphasized again and again that if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, nothing shall be impossible unto you. The Bible means this absolutely, factually, completely, and literally. It isn't an illusion, it isn't a fantasy. It is not an illustration, nor a symbol, nor a metaphor, but the absolute fact. Faith, even as a grain of mustard seed, will solve your problems. Any of your problems, all of your problems, if you believe it and practice it. According to your faith, be it unto you. The requirement is faith, and directly in proportion to the faith that you have and you get results. Little faith gives you little results. Medium faith gives you medium results. Great faith gives you great results. But in the generosity of Almighty, if you have only the faith symbolized by a grain of mustard seed, it will do amazing things in solving your problems. For example, let me tell you the thrilling story of my friends Morris and Mary Alice Flint. I became acquainted with them when a previous book of mine, A Guide to Confident Living, was condensed in Liberty magazine. Morris Flint at that time was failing badly. Not only was he failing in his job, but as a person as well. He was filled with fear and resentment and was one of the most negative persons I have ever encountered. He was endowed with a nice personality and at heart was a wonderful fellow. But he had simply messed life up, as he himself admitted. He read the condensation of the book in which it emphasized the idea of a mustard seed faith. At that time, he was living in Philadelphia with his family, a wife and 2 sons. He telephoned my church in New York, but for some reason did not make contact with my secretary. I mention this to show his already changing mental attitude, for normally he would never have called me the second time, because it was his pathetic habit to give up everything after a feeble effort. But in this instance, he persevered until he got through and secured the information relative to the time of church services. The next Sunday, he drove from Philadelphia to New York with his family to attend church, which he continued to do even to in the most inclement weather. In an interview later, he told me his life story in full detail.